This is a video reply to freyarayanne. Alright, I'm going to return the favor of reading you, alright? Because the funny thing is, you are not as easy to peg as most people would end up thinking. Actually, you're pretty intriguing on the... Forgive me for the way that I end up going ahead and putting it, alright? The depths hidden behind the shallow seeming intentions. Alright? I apologize if it comes off condescending, but let me go ahead and explain what I mean by that, alright? So, when people end up going ahead and seeing you, I'm guessing they end up going ahead and judging on, superficial expectations, and standards. While simultaneously, how you look in comparison to the environment that you're a product of don't seem to coordinate. All right. Well, it seems like you ended up going and agreeing to take part in a psychoanalysis sociology triangulation project. On the surface, you're pretty much like, yeah, cool, let's go for it. I don't think you expected to end up being as intrigued as you are. That curiosity, it's something that you've had in you since you were a kid. But at the same time, I don't think you've gotten as many opportunities as you wish you could have to be able to truly dive to the depths that your imagination tells you is possible. Ultimately, hearing about basically what everyone was perceiving as me having a mental breakdown, believing that I could do something that's not realistic. And then I do it. Came as a surprise to quite a few people. I don't think it came as much of a surprise to you, though. I don't think me being as self-assured as I am was really the perception of arrogance and egotism that people wanted to go ahead and portray it to be. It sparked that curiosity, though, that you've carried with you your entire life. Because ultimately, if I'd be capable of being able what I said I was able to, which you saw video demonstrations, then how much of all the things that you imagined and you dreamed could be out there, could be within reach, could be obtainable, with the proper drive and the proper dedication and the right intentions to go ahead and end up right in your grasp. Not for selfish reasons, but for reasons of being able to experience more than anyone ever imagined to be realistic. So, while other people were going ahead and approaching the situation with skepticism and just, I'm sorry, but the snobbish attitude it may have seemed like you were good to go on it, but there was a really underlying, like, right at the depths of, like, is what he's imagining and perceiving anything along the lines of what I imagine would be possible? What could be brought into existence? I don't think in the situation that you approached it with any fear at all. Actually, I quite literally think that other people, after getting to see me doing my demonstrations, other people were petrified because they understood that I'm seeing things on a much deeper level than they ever wanted to give me credit for. Which means that they understood that I was capable of seeing parts of them that they never imagined that they'd have to attempt to justify. You, though? No fear. Pure excitement and just exhilarated by the thought. I don't think you realize how much credit you truly deserve for that. I mean, how many people go and attempt to taunt the monster and then end up thinking, oh, I'll worry about the consequences if and when they come. You wanted to understand exactly how the monster actually operated to get to learn that the real monster is really the inability to be able to accept the differences in belief, in understanding, and the unwillingness to be able to recognize the programming that ended up going ahead and driving that very close-mindedness that ended up stirring the pot in the first place. I'm trying to do my best not to give people advice nowadays. Because when you give advice, if that advice does not work or does not serve that person, then ultimately they have a reason to go ahead and feel misled, even if the intention was never to mislead, because intention versus impact. But if I were to throw some advice out there and you were open minded enough to go ahead and truly receive it, don't pretend that that curiosity that you have isn't as deep as it is. That fascination that you have towards understanding how much of a tool that imagination really can be, getting to go ahead and see a real life demonstration of willpower being able to bend and manipulate the fabrics of reality. Who's to say, even with me being at this point the topic expert, that I'm not just scratching the surface and that there's a lot more to be found? I'm just saying, realistically, physically, my body is the equivalent of a old beat down truck that's just burning oil constantly. Having to go ahead and pay attention to a monitor that lets me know when my body has enough sugar in it to not ending up just passing out unconscious randomly. Even have to worry about that in my sleep. I'm just saying, people go ahead and talk about intentions and thoughts versus actions, all talk, no action. There isn't enough credit given to the thinkers. Because a lot of the times, the very tools that the action driven individuals need in order to be able to survive the very scenarios that end up going ahead and fueling those discoveries that end up getting made by leaping without looking. Usually it's the thinkers that ended up going ahead and making those tools a reality. So that way the people of action can go ahead and broaden those horizons. So you go ahead and you take from that what you will. But I just gotta say, go ahead and keep trying to make your strong mind your strongest muscle. Alright? Ultimately, that curiosity, that's a fuel source. It seems like you got an abundance of it. Run with it.